Hello and welcome. I'm Amy Engelmark. Bear with me as I get set up to stream to a few different places here. I can't wait to dive into our topic today and give you as much information as I can, but we got to get things sorted out. So just wait and be patient because this is going to be worth it. Your patience will be worth it. Preparing. It says we are almost ready to go. Can you feel it? I'm energized. Preparing. Okay, we're off to the races. Welcome to my masterclass. Today, we're diving into the topic of 3 daily habits to create abundant levels of happiness, of health, and of wealth. So you're in the right place if you were drawn to attend this presentation and you might feel like you're caught in the work trap and on the hamster wheel, or you might feel like you don't have enough time for yourself. And so I want to invite you today to get fully focused. If you have your cell phone like I do, please silence it. Maybe you're gutsy enough to turn it all the way off. But I want your full attention. Give yourself the gift of full attention as you tune in today. Hey, Tanya. So nice to hear from you. Everyone, please chime into the chat room and let me know your name, where you're from, a little bit about you so that the others who are in here live with us can get to know where you're from, and maybe you can share your profession. Maybe one reason that you're watching this and carving out this 20 to 30 minutes, that's how long it will be, of time so that you can learn and you can feel healthier, happier, and wealthier. Hi, Artisher. So happy to have you on live. And there will be people who are joining possibly a few minutes late, and some will be watching this replay. So wherever you're at, welcome. Get yourself centered and focused and ready for this training, because there is so much wealth and gold. Hey, Keith, lovely to see you here live, that I am planning on sharing today, and so much that I don't have time to share today. So I'm going to keep things as simple and brief as possible while also going really deep into the topic I'm teaching on today, so that, hey, Kristen, lovely to see you, so that you can get the most out of this time. So I teach, many of you have heard me say this, I teach like a fire hose, and I go deep quickly, right to the root of the matter so that you can get value, because I value speed and efficiency, and I value quick results. So put your hand up or put a little 1 in the chat box if you value speed and efficiency too, because in this day and age, we want things quickly, and it's actually possible to get to the root of something and create solutions quickly. Yes, that's why my way of doing things. So I'm going to share with you my slides, and from time to time I'll just pop back in so that you can see my face as I train live. If you haven't chimed in, welcome, and here we go. See here, I have a few things open. Let me just get the right thing. You're not going to see the right thing at first. Hang on. I don't need you to see my downloads. I want you to see something else. So this is what I want you to see. 3 daily habits to create abundant health, happiness, and wealth. When I'm dealing with technology and I don't have a helper by my side, it's like, All right, we're just gonna flow with this and you can see what I see in just a sec. Okay, here we go. All right, so let me move things around. Ta-da! Technology. If you haven't met me yet, you'll get to know me and maybe you've heard good things about me. I hope. I'm presenting for you today from personal experience as well as over a decade of working with some of the most amazing people who I feel so honored to coach and train and mentor, who are leaders in multiple different professions. What we're talking about today, I'm going to give you the outline here. First, I'm going to cover why it's so important that you choose to be someone who's an example of health and happiness and wealth, and how you can have all three. There's really good reasons why you need to be that an example for yourself and others. Then I'm going to cover the top mindset principle that has been proven time and time again in my life and in clients' lives and through research to boost your health and your happiness and your wealth. And it's so possible. And you might not even think that you need a mindset shift. I sure didn't think I needed one, but I did. Then the third thing I'm going to cover is the best strategy to make more time for yourself happen, because we all know that we can't create better health for ourselves. We can't feel happier and more joyful. We can't experience greater levels of wealth, financial wealth, spiritual wealth, relational wealth, unless we have a specific strategy. So I'll share with you how I make more time for things that matter to me and how you can too. And the last thing I'll cover is how to create wealth in a really fun way, because that's how you will create more flexibility. That's how you'll create more freedom. That's how you'll create more choices for you and your family and the community that you serve. Here's a little bit about me. I've worked with leaders from around the world, influencers in many different fields, from tech to veterinarians to realtors to politicians to doctors to financial advisors. I've coached so many different people in PR. And one thing I've come to know is that they aren't satisfied unless they have more balance, unless they have better health, unless they're truly happy inside. They can be making a lot of money and not be happy, or they can be telling themselves that they're happy and they really enjoy their balance, but they're not making the impact that they want to, that meaningful, those meaningful explosions of growth inside themselves and for others that make them feel fulfilled and like they're living on purpose. And that's what I do with my clients. Through my consulting and advising, I use very practical strategies and very spiritual strategies to bring the joy and the fun back into your life and help you make time for your priorities so that you're living in alignment instead of sacrificing one thing for the other. I have a fabulous husband. He's there lighting a fire just recently. I have two amazing kids, Gavin and Simon, and a dog that I'm thoroughly in love with, and a cat we call Frankie, or Frankie the Butcher, for no apparent reason. It just fits. He's really, really massive. So, do you love travel? I love travel. And I feel it's really important for you to get to know who I am so you know who's teaching and training you right now. Part of what I value is being able to have the flexibility and joy of adventure and being able to travel with my family and work. I just re-entered Canada from Kauai, Hawaii, where I was working and having fun and playing and being very strategic about my time use. And man, it was fun. So, all of this was not possible before I understood what mindset shifts needed to happen in myself and what systems needed to be put into place and what habits needed to be put into place. So, today, by the way, if you love travel and exploring and other cultures as much as I do, why don't you put a big exclamation point in the chat box? Because I want to see who I'm dealing with today. I want to see if we're alike. And it's fun. It's fun to be engaged. You're going to get more out of this. When I teach today, I'm going to be sharing some of those systems and mindset shifts and habits, but obviously just some of them because we only have a certain amount of time together. And I'll check the chat box in a minute because I can't while I'm looking at this screen and sharing my slides for you. So some of the clients that I've coached are, like I said, some of them are in Canada, some have been Denmark, England, many different cultures, some in the States. And it's been a real pleasure and honor to be able to walk through the fire with people and be able to dream up a new lifestyle and possibilities and make a really big impact by partnering with my clients. I'm always so thankful. Here are the top reasons that came to my mind when I was thinking of you today and preparing this training. So, the top reason is to be an example of health, happiness, and wealth is like, why wouldn't you? If you're going to make a cake, why aren't you going to plan on eating it too? Right? If you make it, aren't you planning on eating it? My purpose in this statement is if you want to give to the world and you want to say maybe have a family that you just love spending time with, or a wife or a girlfriend, or maybe you want to make sure that your life is not maybe is full of meaning, right? So there's no way that you can do meaningful work in the world if you don't allow yourself to enjoy your life at the same time. If you're telling yourself that you're happy, but really you've become comfortable, there's a problem. That's more like, I'm going to bake this cake and let everyone else eat it, but I'm not really going to have the icing on it that I crave. I'm not going to let myself enjoy it. So that's one of the reasons that it's important that you be an example of health, because it's going to, one, help you enjoy your life. I could end the training right now because it's important that we enjoy our lives. It's not selfish of you to prioritize yourself. And still, we're still on point number one. Why not be proactive and ensure the longevity of your health and your happiness that flows into every aspect of your life and of your career, whether you're in business for yourself or you're working in a corporation or you're working in healthcare? You got to stay proactive, my friend. Number two, for your children, be an example of health because you're in control of the legacy that you pass on and the lessons that they're learning right now, or your grandchildren. For your team, why not be an example, a shining example of health that they can aspire to? A shining example of someone who's so full of joy that rivers of living water are flowing out of you, and you have that much energy and that much passion to give because you're taking care of yourself. So you get to pass on lessons, really important insight and wisdom, even strategy, by leading by example for your team or for your colleagues. What about in your love life, in your marriage? Why wouldn't you want to keep the fires lit? Why wouldn't you want to love yourself, take care of yourself, value yourself, make a great income at the same time? Just think of what that does for your romantic life, for the connection, the deep connection that you can form with your special other person if you are happy. Imagine how that impacts that most precious relationship. I know personally how it affects it for the positive or the negative when I'm taking care of myself, when I give myself the permission to enjoy life. And last, your world, our world. You can inspire so many people, and your message will travel far. The solution that bridges the gap between what your clients or your patients or your customers need, you have that solution. And if you're not taking care of yourself and you're not giving from a full cup, then you cannot be profitable for long. And you cannot help in the way that you're meant to help through this life. So let's hop into my first teaching point. The top mindset principle of healthy, wealthy, and happy people. And before I even share with you what it is, you might be thinking, I don't need a mindset shift. Remember, I told you I didn't think I needed a mindset shift. I grew up quite quickly when I started, or not grew up, but I guess I would say matured quickly when I started working with my first coach. And I just didn't know any better. It's right. It's like we walk through life and we have these blinders on, right? Great. We can focus well, but we're not seeing the whole picture. And I'm really good at helping clients. And we might have time for one of you to hop onto a live coaching opportunity with me at the end of this call. So be prepared for that if you're interested. We don't know what we don't know. So unless we are able to say, hey, I don't know everything yet, and I want to be a lifelong learner, and maybe there's areas in my life that are keeping me stuck. Imagine if you had these blinders on all the time and there was a world of opportunity, which there is, available to you, but you couldn't see it. That's what mindset, sticky old mindset, old stories that you might have picked up from mentors, teachers, even culture does to us. So I want you to put in the chat box if you can relate to a time in your life where you didn't even know that your thinking was keeping you stuck until the light bulb went off, the blinders were removed, and you realized that you weren't getting the result in your life that you wanted because of the way you were thinking. It's not because you needed a new strategy, it's because you needed to think differently about yourself or about your situation. Can you just write, yeah, yes, I've been there, or I've been at a place where I realized I needed to remove the blinders and that my thinking was actually causing the problem. This is where we're going to start, and because it's so powerful. When you change your mind, you're changing your brain chemistry. And when you change your brain chemistry, that totally ties into how you're feeling and how you'll act. You are the master of your thinking, and your brain is your servant. Your thoughts don't need to control you. Remember that. So here's some cues that your thinking might need a reboot. When you're feeling stuck, my friend, when you're feeling anxious, when you're feeling despondent, unfocused, apathetic, what needs to change is your mindset. And if you don't change your mindset, then you won't prioritize yourself. And if you don't prioritize yourself, you can't be healthier, you can't be happier, and you can't be wealthier. You can't make more income. We often feel like we have to be the anchor for everyone else. We need to make sure everyone else is happy. We need to make sure everyone else likes us, like everyone else, like there's peace between us and everyone else. And the truth is, you need an anchor for yourself. So if you don't have your pen out and you're not taking notes yet, I want to invite you to do that right now. So write down these steps, or take a screenshot of your screen right now and mull on this, because it's part of your homework for later if you want it, what these steps are. So the shift in thinking, that people who are healthy and happy and wealthy, they got all three. Awesome. They see prioritizing themselves as an action of honor, an act of thankfulness, and an act of generosity. Why honor, thankfulness, and generosity? Well, if you think about it, you've been given this awesome body. You've been given the health that you've been given right now. You've been when you think about your soul or your mind, they're all to be enjoyed and they're all to be shared. And so if they're to be enjoyed and shared, it's up to us to be responsible for taking care of them so that we can do what we're meant to do here in our lives and enjoy ourselves in the meantime. So when you prioritize yourself, you're not being selfish. You're not being irresponsible of your other obligations or responsibilities in business or to your family. You're actually saying, thank you. Thank you for giving me this body, these emotions, this mind, this spirit. Thank you for what I have currently. And I'm going to take care of what I've been given. And by taking care of it, it's an act of generosity because I'll be able to give back. People who have health, wealth, and happiness, they these are the type of people I work with. They're committed to making themselves a priority. And one of the ways I want to encourage you to do that, which is an easy first step, is to create a new daily routine for yourself instead of running into work in the day, instead of getting up, getting dressed, and getting to business or getting to serving other people, even your family. Carve out time for yourself because you'll slip into a trap of overgiving without limits if you don't. So that daily routine will anchor yourself. If you already have one and you love it, put a little check mark or an asterisk in the chat box. If you have one that you feel you want to add something to it that would make you feel excited, that's what I would love for you to work on today. So in that daily time, you can ask yourself, what do I need to feel energized, rested, excited, filled up? And also, many of you who are attending my training, these are the type of people who really magnetize to me, is that they are really high achievers and quality is important to you. And so you may not acknowledge yourself as much as you'd like to. You might be harder and self-critical towards yourself. One thing in your daily routine you can do to smash that old habit and create a new one is write down 3 of your small achievements that you can celebrate, because then you can see that you are making progress and it doesn't have to be all like that. Your progress will start snowballing over time as you acknowledge the effort you're making. So, number 2, best strategy to increase health, happiness, and income is to communicate. Now, from my perspective with the clients I've worked with and the audience members I've trained, is that this is a no-brainer. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second. This is a no-brainer because we forget to do it, but it's so simple, right? And I want to encourage you to communicate with a few different people in your life. 1, communicate with yourself more often. And I'm going to give you the specific strategy I'm talking about. If you want to feel healthy, happy, and wealthy, you need to get more in touch with yourself every day instead of ignoring yourself, your needs, your wants, and emotions. Communicate with God. If you're spiritual, even if you don't believe in the Judeo-Christian God, Jesus, I believe in Jesus, but if you're a spiritual person and you want to connect with your soul, communicate with your heart instead of making all of your decisions and not even second guessing them because you're just paying more attention to your brain, the rational side of yourself. Start paying more attention to your heart in that daily routine so you can communicate and check in with your heart. Communicate with your team, communicate with your spouse and your family. But first and foremost, check in with yourself, check in with your spiritual side, check in with God. And here's some examples of what to make this more tangible, what I'm talking about is during that morning practice, ask yourself, what's a more creative way of thinking about blank, about what I want to create today, or what's possible before the end of 2022? What's a more creative way of making time for myself? What's a more creative way for me to be happy today or this week? What's what's the strategic way of thinking that I could apply to my situation at work so that I could have more balance, so that I could serve my clients or my patients or customers in an even more valuable way that would add more value to their lives? So think, how can I be more creative? Have these conversations with yourself, have them with your team, have them with your colleagues, have them with your spouse. So when you're thinking of communicating with your spouse, for those of you who are in a romantic relationship, if we could both be happy, what would that look like? Sometimes we don't prioritize ourselves because we think, oh, it's all about me and now they're going to be unhappy. And how will that affect our relationship? Well, you can have a win win scenario. So, how could this work for both of us? Think bigger. It's a big theme of my training today. With your children, you could ask them, instead of being stuck in work and not making time for yourself because you think, I need to make time for my children, ask them, what makes you feel loved when we're spending quality time together, when uh, when we are hugging? Like, what is your love language? Because you might be thinking, it's going to take an hour and I don't have an hour to spend. That means I can't do X for myself. When the truth is, you can have both. So communicate. That's the second strategy. I'm going to go back to just check quickly the chat. Hi, Melanie. Nice to see you in here. Christy, nice to see you. Great. Looking forward to meeting you. And Miriam, awesome. Thank you, everyone, for chiming in. So great. Okay, let's go back and I'm going to share my last point with you before we wrap up. Last point is, how do we create wealth in a fun way so we can boost our flexibility, have more flexibility in life and more freedom? The way that I've found that is most effective is to give and to give and to give some more, which is why I'm here with you today. And as you see under there, and set limits. So you can give and you can pour from your heart because you have this new wellspring of energy and life. You're creating an anchor in your own soul, in your own daily routine for yourself, so that you're being filled up and you can give and give and give and add value to people. You can serve and you can be generous, but you don't have to give without limits. In the whole game of wealth creation and relationship development, you can give from a full cup. And in that giving, you can own your value. If you don't own your value, you continue to give and give and give everything away instead of being strategic about your giving. So if you think about giving from a generous perspective, you need to be thinking about yourself at the same time. Otherwise, your giving is going to run dry. I'm creating a new masterclass that's probably going to come out. The full 5-day masterclass will come out sometime mid-June to late June, and I want to invite you to attend that. The whole focus will be on how to, at least I think this is what it's going to be on, how to build business with God's support, with divine support, so that you're not doing everything yourself and you have access to wisdom, ideas, creative solutions, and you can go out and serve the world. This is not just for business leaders, it's for any world influencer leader. It's so you can go out and you can help through your work with ease, with joy, with energy. You can have time for yourself and your family too. Who doesn't want that? So give, 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 add value, and honor yourself. Own your value through your communication as you give. As I wrap up, I want to remind you of something I believe very strongly in, that we don't have to sacrifice health and happiness for wealth, or we don't have to sacrifice health to enjoy health and wealth to enjoy health and happiness. You don't have to move forward and act like a robot and not have fun anymore. You can laugh more often. You can be yourself and you'll be even more successful in your field. And it's okay to be very wealthy while you're doing very deeply meaningful work in the world. It's very freeing when you can adopt that mindset. That's a wrap for today. If you want to have my support and you'd like to have access to the systems I have set up to help you develop better habits, to help you change and re-engineer your mindset to support you in that habit development, I would love to help you. If you just signed up and registered for this training for free, and that's good, you don't need any more support and you want to do it on your own, that's fine too. But if you'd like to accelerate your learning and you'd like to save time, you'd like to save stress, and you want that catapult into more joy and into more career success, I would love to support you. And I have two things that I'm offering today. One of them is a private coaching session where I would do an audit on your life, on your personal and professional life, and help you see where you're stuck, where things are out of alignment, kind of like you might have gum stuck on your shoe. And every time you take a step, it feels like you're drawn backwards a little bit, or you can only go so far. I want to share with you how you can take that gum off your shoe and get unstuck so that you can run freely and feel the wind in your face, laugh more often, be successful in all areas of your life. So we do an audit, and then I would give you the first 3 steps, map out what you can do to move forward with more ease. So that I usually charge $750 for. But today, if you'd like to start working with me and you want to see what it would be like, I'm offering 2 of those spaces for $500. And also I have 1 private coaching spot available. And the minimum time I work with clients is for a 2-month period, 8 weeks. And if you wanted to pay up front, it would be $5,000. Or if you wanted a payment plan, I also have a payment plan. And I know that I can shortcut your learning curve. I know, and I have testimonials, many of them that you can see on my website, that you can see all over social media. So contact me at that email address if you feel like now is the right time and I want to hop on a call with Amy. If you're not quite sure, I would be happy to set aside 20 minutes for you and we can see what would be the best option, because there's also a group coaching option that I didn't mention to you if it's not financially feasible to work with me long-term privately. So contact me and we can map out what the best solution is and we can see if we're a good fit. So I'm going to stop screen sharing and check in with you now, because that was a lot of information and I want to see if there's any questions. I've blocked out until 1 o'clock today for you. And if there's an opportunity for you to get your solution today or get a creative strategy to move forward with, I would love to serve you. If you also, so type that in the chat box if you have one. And I would also like to open up the opportunity for you to give me feedback. So what was that one strategy that I shared, or maybe switch in mindset that you enjoyed the most? Where was the most value for you in making this time for yourself today to attend? While I have some water. It's so fun for me to see some of you who I haven't met yet and are joining me here, and I can't wait to get to know you more. Right now it's gorgeous and sunny outside, and I'll probably be going for a walk after this. So amazing. Wonderful to spend time with you. So thank you for showing up, and be sure to check in with me about upcoming masterclasses that are in the near future. Thanks so much, Christy. And it was a pleasure to have you on this training. Tanya, I really like number 2 about communicating. Yes. Yes, I love working with you too, Kristen, in small bites and big chunks. Depends on what you want to accomplish, right? That's what we zone in on. Okay, everyone, thanks. And if you have questions or you'd like to have that 20-minute conversation with me, or booking a one-to-one strategy call, or longer term partnering with me to access my strategies and mindset shifts, I'd love to save you time. Have a wonderful day.